James Comey slithered into court today like a snake. No handcuffs, no perp walk, no mugshot. The former FBI director snuck through a side entrance to face federal charges, lying to Congress and obstruction of justice. 2 felonies that could mean some serious prison time. But while Peter Navarro got dragged off a plane in leg irons for a misdemeanor, Roger Stone, house getting raided in front of CNN cameras. Well, Comey got to keep his phone and his hard drives, strolling in like visiting royalty. Madison Cawthorn, remember him? He called it perfectly. 2-tier justice, alive and thriving. Juanita Broderick tweeted what millions were thinking. This is BS. Eric Schmidt warned Clapper and Brennan to lawyer up. The deep state's golden boy just got his wake-up call. We're going to watch him squirm. But did you know the gold has gone mainstream? That's right, you're seeing it everywhere. Prices keep climbing, and every day more and more Americans are catching on to the power of gold. But how do you actually take advantage of it? How do you invest in a way that's simple, safe, simple, and built for the long run? That's where Noble Gold Investments comes in. Noble Gold specialists are trained to help investors like you go from confused to confident, from wondering what's next to knowing exactly what to do. Whether you're looking to roll over a 401k into a gold IRA or you want physical coins and bars delivered right to your home, Noble Gold makes the process simple, safe, and stress-free. You'll get step-by-step guidance, transparent pricing, and a U.S.-based service from a team that's handled over $2.5 billion in precious metal transactions. With Noble Gold Investments, protecting and growing your wealth isn't just their job, it is their commitment. Visit nextnewsgold.com. It's linked down below to claim your free wealth protection kit and see if you qualify for that silver bonus. That's nextnewsgold.com. Noble Gold, helping you build a stronger future. Or call that number, 877-646-5347. Tell my buddy Colin over there that Gary sent you. Okay, so the perp walk that never happened. Yes, I'm not pleased. I know you're not pleased. We want perp walks. How could we let this happen? One of the architects of the Russia hoax allowed to sneak in through a back door.
Director, front doors of the federal courthouse here in Alexandria. That appears not to have been the case. There are other entrances, a garage entrance, a back entrance as well, which might make sense given how many spectators are out here for really what is an unprecedented event today. So in about, 7 minutes, that's when the arraignment is scheduled for. That is when the former director, James Comey, FBI director, will be speaking to Judge Michael Nachmanhoff. He's a Biden appointee known for his thoroughness, but he's going to inform Comey of the charges against him. He's going to be asked how he pleads. We fully expect Comey to plead innocent on both charges, which a grand jury indicted him on late last month, those being a false statement within the jurisdiction of the legislative branch of the U.S. government, obstruction of a congressional proceeding. Front doors of the federal courthouse.
Slithering in like a snake, FBI Director Comey pleading not guilty to federal charges of lying to Congress. The former FBI director pleading not guilty to federal charges of making false statements, obstructing a congressional proceeding during his arraignment on October 8th, 2025. The legal team, led by attorney Patrick Fitzgerald, has signaled it will argue for the case's dismissal on the grounds of vindictive and selective prosecution. The charges stem from his 2020 testimony before the Senate Judiciary Committee. Comey's attorney entered a not guilty plea on his behalf. A trial date has been set for January 5th, 2026. Oh, why couldn't they make it January 6th? Right? That's their favorite date. Anyway, mark your calendars, folks, because January 5th, 2026 is going to be a day that goes down in history. But you see, he thinks he's going to get away with this. But there's still, remember the grand conspiracy? That's still happening in the background. These are different charges, folks. There could be more coming down. And President Trump has said it. Kash Patel has said it. More charges are coming. Former Representative Madison Cawthorn says the 2-tier justice system is alive and well. Let's listen to what he had to say to Benny Johnson.
It's pretty wild. Just like kind of telling a lie.
Was prosecuted by the FBI.
Everyone's best friend. Sick city, man.
It's disgusting. I mean, you look at the difference between a guy like Roger Stone, another truth teller. When he was prosecuted by the FBI, he was perp walked out of his building. All of his devices were taken from him. They were cloned and mirrored. He had all kinds of ridiculous stuff going on. James Comey still has all of his hard drives and his cell phones in his possession. He had a very, just subtle, hey, why don't you go ahead and come on in to this, to your pretrial? Let's see how it's going. You can claim if you're guilty or not guilty. It just shows that even into this day, and it's because the deep state is still so well rooted, that there is a two-tiered justice system. And thank God for the President Trump's administration trying to right that and correct that. But it is just two-tiered. It's disgusting. It's rules for thee and not for me.
Congratulations.
Madison Cawthor weighing in. Here's Mike Davis.
James Comey, this first indictment is just the beginning of...
That's exactly what I said. There's more to come, folks.
...justice you will face. This first indictment is related to James Comey's lying to Congress, to the Senate Judiciary Committee, to then Chairman Chuck Grassley, in 2017, when my former boss asked James Comey about his leaks to the media about this matter. He lied about it. He lied about it again in 2020. He reaffirmed his lying to Congress in 2020. This was both a lie under 18 U.S.C. 1001, false statements under 18 U.S.C. 1001, and it's also obstruction of a congressional investigation, because when you lie to investigators, you obstruct their investigation. We're not going to see Comey charged from the 2017 lie because that's beyond the 5-year statute of limitations. But the 2020 lie got charged by Trump U.S. Attorney Lindsey Halligan within the 5-year period. Remember what happened with this grand jury. This grand jury is a bunch of Democrats, including government workers in the suburbs of Washington, D.C., and Alexandria, Virginia, in this woke, white, wealthy enclave outside of Washington, D.C. It seems from the news reports that the grand jury actually considered this seriously, because the grand jury apparently did not return true bills on perjury, but the grand jury did return true bills on the indictment for false statements and obstruction. So the grand jury took these false statements and this obstruction seriously. These alleged false statements and obstruction by James Comey. They took it so seriously that they charged him with these federal crimes, and now James Comey is going to show up for his arraignment today in the federal court in the Eastern District of Virginia. He's already pled not guilty, and I would say,
and the party is not over yet. Let's keep going. More to dig in. Juanita Broadwick is pissed. She says, this is BS. No perp walk, no mugshot. Coward went through the garage.
Andrea Hoff, former FBI director, set to be arraigned today on 2 counts related to his Senate testimony from 5 years ago in the Trump-Russia investigation. Alexandria Hoff is live outside the courtroom, Northern Virginia. How goes it, Alex? Good morning there.
Hey, Bill, we were expecting the possibility of maybe seeing the former director walk directly through these front doors of the federal courthouse here in Alexandria. That appears not to have been the case. There are other entrances, a garage.
And, of course, we know he went through the back door. Steve Bannon weighing in. Dr. Peter Navarro, who didn't lie to Congress, was dragged out of a plane, chained up, put in leg irons for a misdemeanor. Comey, bald-faced, lied to Congress and obstructed justice on 2 felonies. It's time for Comey to face the music. Bannon not too pleased either.
The senior White House, Peter Navarro, for a misdemeanor, which 99.99% of the time is handled civilly in these disputes between Congress. Okay, Peter Navarro didn't lie to Congress. Peter Navarro, because President Trump exerted executive privilege, and he was a senior White House aide, and the committee was not structured properly, had no ranking member and no counsel, Peter Navarro and Stephen K. Bannon and Dan Scavino and Mark Meadows opted, as our constitutional duty, not to submit documentation and not to go testify as a matter of constitutional principle. These were misdemeanors. They were normally, like I said, 99.99% of the time in American history handled through civil litigation. Scavino and Mark Meadows were not charged, but they charged Peter Navarro and myself. And Peter Navarro, they treated like an animal to try to humiliate him and break him at Reagan Airport, very close to this courthouse, so not that far away from this federal courthouse. They basically chained him up in front of everybody, dragged him off a plane, chained up his fiancée, took him down a tarmac and tried to and put him in leg irons, and then took him over to the federal courthouse, put him in the basement where the cells down there, one of the cells was for Hinckley, on a misdemeanor. Comey is about two felonies, right? He bald-faced lied to Congress. He obstructed justice. And these are just the appetizers. Peter Navarro.
Just the appetizers. Everybody knows there's another shoe about to drop. Here's the news breaking of him pleading not guilty.
Here is the breaking news. The former FBI Director James Comey in front of a judge moments ago in a hearing that we did not think would last long, and apparently that is the case. He has entered a plea of not guilty to 2 charges, federal level now. Our producers inside the courtroom say the former director accused of lying to Congress, obstructing a congressional proceeding, entered the plea moments ago in front of the judge, Michael Nachmanoff, appointed by Joe Biden. Not guilty on both federal charges. He's accused of lying in front of Congress back in 2020. Here is the breaking.
Eric Schmidt, the time has come for criminal prosecutions. Comey, Clapper, Brennan, and anyone else involved, they better lawyer up.
Exit ramp at Mall. The time has come for criminal prosecutions. I think some of the statute of limitations has expired on some of these things, but not on a conspiracy. And the fact is, if you're part of a conspiracy in mile marker 1, but you try to take an exit ramp at mile marker 5, you're still liable for the damage and the criminal activity at mile marker 10. We're at mile marker 10. And so whether it's Comey, Clapper, Brennan, whoever else we know or don't know right now is a part of this, I think indictments should be coming here. We can't tolerate this. And the Democrats try to act like President Trump's weaponizing. It's not what's happening.
This is about accountability.
It is. And I would say this.
Someone has to be accountable
100%. And also we need to be clear of the distinction. They weaponized it. The fact that we would go after people who weaponized it is not the same thing. Because if we don't do that, it's going to happen again. The time has come for
You got to nip it in the bud. Okay, Eric Trump flipping the script on Chris Cuomo, leaving him shocked. Cuomo accusing President Trump of going after his political opponents the moment he took office. Uh-oh. Yeah, that was a bad idea, Chris.
Comey? Do you think that it is fair to say it looks like the administration is going after its political opponents now and doing exactly what you say you oppose?
What, Comey? Because I mean, it seemed very clear to me in the congressional testimony. I don't know, just watching it, I certainly seemed like he lied to me. I mean, I'm also wondering what an FBI director is doing, taking memos from the FBI and leaking them to the New York Times. I mean, Chris, I'm a guy that hopes that the FBI director would be keeping planes from flying into buildings, keeping our country safe, keeping the Western way of life safe. Instead, this guy is, communicating every single day with the New York Times. I mean, I'd hope a lot better, but I find it so ironic that you're literally one that's pushing back on the weaponization of government when the very same people that were coming after us, went after your brother, like hounds. I mean, they did everything they could to destroy his governorship. They did everything they could to destroy his life. They did everything they could to destroy you. I sat in that same seat. The only difference is my last name wasn't Cuomo. My last name was Trump. They were trying to destroy my father. And by doing that, they were trying to destroy me, and they were trying to destroy the Trump organization. They were trying to take all our assets and strip our name off of every building in New York City. You've been on the receiving end of the very same people that I've been on the receiving end of. And so to play coy with me as if this isn't happening in the United States of America just seems ironic and foolish given what you've been through more so than anybody.
Hold on a second. What did you just say that you think I'm doing? I'm asking you questions about whether or not if something is wrong, is also wrong.
Uh-oh, Fredo. Fredo's getting pissed. My name's Chris Cuomo. I'm an anchor for CNN. I'll never forget that clip. Oh, yeah. Fredo's blood pressure is getting up. Don't call me Fredo. Sorry, I couldn't help.
More so than anybody.
Hold on a second. What did you just say that you think I'm doing? I'm asking you questions about whether or not, if something is wrong, it is also wrong to do the same thing when you get back in power, which certainly happened the first time the administration came in. You went right after Biden. And I don't mean you weren't part of the administration. I'll get to you in a second in terms of what's going on right now. But if you think I'm playing coy, you don't know me as well as you should.
Chris,
I'm not playing coy. I know what happened to me,
Chris,
Eric.
I'm
saying that
and it was
what is
horrible
happening now looks like what was done to you. That's why I'm asking the question.
Did we raid Biden's home? Did we try and bankrupt Biden? Did they come after us? Did we weaponize every AG and DA, against Biden? Did we do that against Hunter Biden, who had a laptop from hell, pictures of cocaine, illicit drug use, prostitution? Did we do that? Did we make up a dirty dossier about Biden? Did they try and destroy Biden's marriage? Was any of that true? I mean, did we make up stories that Biden had secret servers in the basement of his home communicating with the Kremlin in Russia? Did we strip Biden off the ballot of multiple states? Did we take Biden off of Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and try and silence his voice so he couldn't communicate? Did we put Biden in a courtroom every single day? 91 felony counts that have all been overturned for my father now, right? For nonsense, to try and keep him off of a campaign trail and to try and destroy his life. Did we do any of that?
Oh my goodness. When Eric Trump says that, when he lays it all out like that and in such a succinct soundbite, it brings it all back. It brings it all back. Every single moment, every single attack, every single news report. And I sit here day after day, and I sort of become numb to this stuff because I'm here, I'm reporting, I'm giving you my opinion, I'm presenting the news. But listening to his voice, listening to the pain that his family's gone through, and laying it out like that, it just hits home. And then to hear Chris Cuomo, Fredo, trying to push back. I mean, Fredo was in on the whole thing too at CNN. All of them were. I give Eric Trump a lot of props for going on that show and laying into Cuomo like that. I mean, he was at least Eric was trying to, throw him a bone. Like, hey man, your family, you got attacked by the same people, right? Trying to, present some empathy so that they can have some common ground to stand on. But Cuomo just gets angry, pushes back, and Eric just went off, man. Pardon my French. Jeez. What else have we got here? Okay, so, man. There's no defending the Comey FBI and the Biden DOJ. Spitfire writes, this is brilliantly laid out by Borelli on CNN. When Democrats complain about the Trump administration weaponizing the DOJ, they need to grab a mirror. Sounds like we're going to hear something very similar to what we just heard Eric Trump, who was on the receiving end directly of that weaponization. Let's hear how it gets presented on CNN from a different angle and a different mouth.
On the floor, then all of a sudden that when it's Republicans, they're not victims, they're suspects, according to Jack Smith. I think there's been a broader politicization of the FBI. We had an FBI agent plead guilty to falsifying records so that he can get a wiretap on the Trump campaign back in 2016. That happened. You have this BS raid on Mar-a-Lago where the FBI brought cover sheets of top secret and sprayed them around the floor and took pictures. Where did they end up? Right?
The FBI brought those sheets?
They did bring the sheets. The FBI brought the top secret cover sheets and replaced other documents with those, put them on the floor, then took photographs, and then leaked the photographs. That's what actually happened. This agency has a leaking problem. That's why James Comey's under indictment right now.
The photographs were attached to court documents.
And let out the public. The purpose was that you saw them, you in the media.
Joe, those were court documents, okay? They weren't leaked, A. And B, what did you want them to do? Take pictures of top secret documents and post the top secret documents?
I would expect that we wouldn't do a raid on a former president's house to get documents that weren't even there.
You can argue whether or not that case should have gone forward, but the underlying issue here, which is whether or not Donald Trump improperly took those documents, I'm not even sure Donald Trump is disputing.
And was treated differently than Joe Biden with proper documents.
Okay, Joe Biden was also investigated, and for different reasons, charges were not brought. But he was investigated by his own.
What were those reasons? Oh, he's just a well-meaning old man. Yeah, he's just an old guy. Leave him alone, right? That was their reason, literally.
Competent. No Roger Stone raid. No Peter Navarro raid.
Joe Biden hated that. But to your point, I mean, he was humiliated in the middle of a presidential campaign by his own DOJ.
Right.
So then,
which honestly he may not have.
So look, I mean, you can call that politicization, but that would be politicization against Biden by his own Justice Department.
I think
all of a sudden,
folks, this story is not over. We're going to continue to track it. Remember, mark your calendar. January 5th, 2026. That is D-Day for James Comey. We'll have to wait and see what other charges are ahead for the deep state crooks who try to take down Donald Trump, his entire family, and destroy this country from within. If you got value from this report, tap subscribe. My final thought is right now. Right meow. The man who orchestrated the Russia hoax, leaked classified memos, and lied about FISA abuses finally facing justice. But instead of justice, we got theater. Comey's cushy arraignment, side door entry, no cuffs, keeping his devices, screams everything that's wrong with our system. So compare his treatment to Roger Stone's pre-dawn raid, Peter Navarro's airport arrest in leg irons, 2 felonies versus their process crimes. Yet Comey gets the VIP treatment. And Bannon nailing it. Navarro got shackled for a misdemeanor while Comey walks free on felonies that corrupted our entire intelligence apparatus. This is not just about an FBI director, a corrupt one. It's about whether Lady Justice peeks under her blindfold to check party affiliation. So here's the question. Will Comey actually serve time? Or will the deep state win again? Drop a yes or a no in the comments. And remember, our merch shop has gear for patriots who demand equal justice. You'll find it linked in the description.